It's Dew Time with Pastor Steph.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Rise and shine. You're on with this Dew Time with Pastor Steph. How are you this morning? That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. For this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So, where were you last week? The second week of It's Dew Time with Pastor Steph live. Video live was live last week. We started with the Shaking the Monday Morning Blues with the Dew Time crew, and we talked about the reasons why ladies need to be careful when dating a man who has been recently separated. Well, one of the reasons is he thinks he's ready to date, but he's not. No, nobody's really ready to date and they've just gotten out of a relationship, or you shouldn't be. You know, we lie to ourselves because some people just can't, be by themselves, or, they don't like to be alone, however you want to say it. But at the end of the day, they're really not ready. Okay, he's really not ready. Well, also, we talked about the fact that he just got finished with the divorce. So he ain't quite settled, and he's struggling with the divorce, and the kids are struggling with the divorce, and ain't nobody ready. No, let me tell you something. It was a commitment. And although we all take commitment differently, we are committed. And if his heart was ever really there, then getting a divorce is not going to feel good, because that means that that's it. It's ended. And most times it's ended bitterly. Most times we ain't on the same page. Most times we only trying to be cordial for the kids, and that ain't working too well, because somebody that started dating a little too soon as far as the other one's concerned. And so it's real messy. Very, very messy. And it's not going to be easy to move on. He may make the attempt, but where's his head? Oh, where's his heart? Oh, where's that love? Is that love still there? Because I'm going to tell you something. I don't know about you ladies, but I don't want no man who is still loving another woman. Now, I'm not saying he need to hate her or even dislike her, but I don't want no man that has his heart on the past. No, I'm sorry. And maybe somebody will say to me, Pastor Steph, that's not realistic. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'm telling you how I would like it to be. Let me give him a chance, and the children who still might be struggling with that divorce as well, young as well as old. Go back and listen to last week. I told you about some grown kids who couldn't work that thing out in their head. Okay? So you ain't only going to be struggling with the babies of this divorce. You're going to be struggling with some grown kids. It's real. Yes, 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 yes. And the one that says, ouch, he might be using you. Yeah. What did Pastor Kale say? He said, maybe he needs a place to stay. Maybe he needs some kind of come up, and you just happen to be the one. So I hope not. But listen, we don't know how this thing's going down. All right? So just be on guard. Well, it was Monday, and that's the day we get our switch with Shantice. And the switch tip for last week was stop being basic. Yes. Think outside the box. Think on the level of the grand Lord. Okay? Because I'm going to tell you something. You don't want to think this big when we serve a Lord that's this big. Yes. Because that's the kind of God He's created us to be. Yeah, he's not a God that, he's so separated from us. We look like little peons and he don't want nothing good for us. He's not that kind of God. He wants us to have it all. He does. We serve a God who has a mansion and everything for us. Our treasures are stored in heaven, and we couldn't imagine what those treasures could possibly be. So stop being basic. Stop going for the mediocre. I want everything. I want everything with my name on it. So, all right. So let's get off that horse of being basic. Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about it. Tuesday rolled around, and we got to talking about these engagements, these proposals, I should say. Yeah, women who were on their knees praying and consulting God and before the Lord, and you turn around and lo and behold, somebody like this close with a ring on his knees. I'm sorry, that's just not what I want in church service. How about the woman who was like, oh, she all passing out? Yes, and the whole church was involved. Yes, the whole church was involved, and they turning her around and face this thing. He's proposing to you, girl. What are we concentrating on in church? What are we concentrating on? Focus, people. We only go to church service one day a week. Yeah, even if you go to Bible study together, you're only in a real church service one day a week. And that one day a week should surely be devoted to God. So men and ladies, because I looked at some Instagram stuff last week, and there was some woman for Valentine's Day, she on her knees, she proposing to the man. We got to talk about that. Shantice, remind me, we need to talk about that today. Last week was this fake faux Valentine's Day, as y'all say, you and Vivian, and there were a whole lot of women doing a whole lot of things, expecting a whole lot of things, and no. But last week, Tuesday, we saw some stuff that just don't need to be happening up in the church. All right. Well, wow. Wednesday rolled around, and our girl Viv started us off with the socially conscious segment, and we talked about the Con Ed customers who are going to get a rate increase, whether you're getting Con Ed for your electricity or Con Ed for your gas. Yeah, it's going up double digits. So be on the lookout. All right. We also talked about Trump, who signed an order saying that there should be no transgender man in the women's sports. He's talking about that school thing. Yeah. And he even went a step further that said, if you got a medal and you were a transgender winner, they want it back. They want the award back. They want the trophy back. And I get it, but give me something brand new. I don't want nothing that's been sitting up in your house. I don't feel great about that. There's some people who would feel like, I got it. It was mine to begin with, and I get it. I promise you I get it. But I'm sorry for Stephanie. I'm looking for something a little better. I want something with my name on it, because you're going to have to get it back. Because am I going to have Mary Jones's trophy sitting up in my house? I don't think so. So, come on. We're going to have to find a different way to get this done. Okay. Well, Therapeutic Thursday rolled around, and the video was live again about a guy who was packing up to go shack up with Danny, the new come up, because he trying to get his rap on, and he says that she's not supporting him, the one he's living with. She's not supporting him. And, when was the last time you came to see my show? And when was the last time you listened to my beat? Oh my goodness. Where were you last week? Because, these people were off the hook. Yes, he was all twisted, all mad. Yeah, it ain't going down properly. It ain't going down. Yeah. It started up a whole conversation. We even had a guest come on because he wanted to get his point across. And yeah, man, that dialogue was hot. Well, that does not talk about the dialogue that was hot on Friday when we couldn't get a piece of tape over Pastor Jeff's mouth fast enough. Yes, Pastor Jeff was off the hook on Friday. Okay, so you need to go back because we got to talking about Ohio's new rule that's called conception begins at erection law, where they're trying to snag every man who drops his load somewhere. He's just charging somewhere, and there's no real reason. He ain't trying to procreate. Yeah, $10,000. A drop. Yeah. So it was on. It was on Friday. And I don't know, y'all, what we're gonna do with Pastor Jeff. But I say go back and listen. And I mean listen to the whole week. I ain't only talk about going back to listen on Friday. Go back and listen to every day last week, because every day had its own, TikTok going on. All right. All righty. Well, last night, we had our prayer. The Word Prayer Project was in effect, and our topic was, let me see if I can remember, listening for and to the voice of God. Yeah, listening to God's voice, listening for God's voice. Are you doing that? Are you making a connection with God before you do whatever it is you do? I don't know. I sure hope so. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I hope you're doing what you're supposed to do, and you're making a connection with God. You're listening for God. You're listening to what he has to say, and you're not moving before you hear from him. Okay? And it was a really good prayer. But the prayer requests are always great in the room. Always, always, always deep, thought-provoking, heartfelt, good. So go back and listen to last night's prayer. If you need a reminder, is there, get yourself together. Don't be by yourself. There are tons of prayers up in the Word Prayer Project topic room. So you can go back and get whatever it is you want to get. Okay? Okay. Well, today is Shaking the Monday Morning Blues all over again. Yeah, did you like that? Shucks now. Pastor Steph is shaking. That's because half of y'all are probably sleeping because today is President's Day and businesses, banks, schools are closed, and it's probably just a few of us up talking and laughing at Pastor Steph cutting up over here. And I just give God thanks that he brought us through another week of a wonderful It's Due Time with Pastor Steph live. Okay, so we want to make sure. Why is it that every time I get on this broadcast, my nose be itching? What y'all doing over there? All right. Let's get our morning started, and come on, shake off that blues. All right? All right. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Me all the time, is juicing bad. So when you juice fruits or vegetables, you're losing all of the fiber. And y'all know I'm obsessed with fiber. You're left with just the juice, which still has all the good vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants, but you're getting a really concentrated amount of natural sugar and calories without all the fiber. Regularly consuming a high amount of juice each day is associated with an increased risk of metabolic syndrome and obesity. I'll share the recommended limits by age group in the caption. Instead of juicing, try eating the whole fruit or vegetable, or consider a blender instead. Blended fruits and vegetables at least retain the fiber, which is so important for the gut microbiome, satiety, helping stabilize blood sugar, and keeping the bowels moving.
Good morning, and good morning again. Welcome back to It's Due Time with Pastor Steph, and we are shaking the Monday morning blues. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So now that we're live and we've got this live chat going on, we got to do the chat thing. Yeah, so you got to let Pastor Steph know that you're in the room. Okay, so check in. That's the only way I'm gonna know you're in the room. I don't get to see you any other way. We always got our first check in, and I am more than positive that she is going for a world's record. She's always the first one to check in with Pastor Steph. Hey, my girl Kenny, how are you? Good morning, and good morning. And thank you so much. Thank you for my shirt. It is Teen Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I'm representing because unfortunately I was a teen victim. But look at God, y'all. Look at God. How many years later? 40 years later? Don't tell me what God can do. We got a check-in from our girl Tamika. Good morning, Tamika. You're going to find Tamika on in a little while. She's part of the Due Time crew, and we're going to be talking about some things. So, good morning, Tamika. Thank you for checking in via the chat room. We got a check-in from our boy Serge, our local MTA representative. Hey, Serge. Thank you for checking in. How you doing this morning? And we got to check in from our boy Terrence. Hey, Terrence. Chatty Terrence. I'm going to start calling him Chatty Watty Terrence. Terrence loves to talk to Pastor Steph, and I am so grateful because that's what I need up in here. I need y'all talking back to me. So Terrence definitely keeps this chat room hot. Well, you know how we do. I cannot go any further unless I say good morning to the ladies who hold it down in the background, who help us with YouTube Live, as well as Facebook Live via StreamYard. Yeah, we got to give StreamYard a shout out. It ain't like we doing this on our own. Let's say good morning to our girl Shantice. Hey, Shantice. And our girl Anika, who could be in her bed right now because I'm sure she's got the day off. Hey, Anika. Thank you so much for holding it down for us this morning and every other morning. Yeah, she just sits laying up in the cut, making sure Shantice has got her support system. So thank you. So what are we talking about today? You know how we get started on Monday mornings. We get our what do you call it? Our health tip. Yeah. So we've got some foods that are bad for your teeth. Can you imagine? Yeah. Well, what was it? A couple of months ago, I bit down on a peanut and cracked my tooth straight in half. Can I tell you something? I ain't had a peanut since. No, I'm too scared. The dentist said it was the way I bit down. Because I was like, are my teeth falling apart like this? She was like, no, Stephanie, just relax. I was like, oh, because I still got some time to go, I hope. And by the time, I can't be on the broadcast with no teeth in my mouth. That ain't gonna work. So peanuts ain't good for Stephanie's mouth. But they're talking about the things that are not good for your teeth that we eat: sticky, sugary candies. Yeah. Remember those, what was it? Red Hots? Them hot, no, jawbreakers. Oh my gosh. Talk about stuff that ain't good for your teeth. We had like them little people teeth and would chomp down on those jawbreakers. Well, I gotta tell you something. My sister was a candy fanatic. That was not my thing. But she used to come home with a bag of candy, and sticky, sugary candies were definitely up in that brown paper bag. Hey, Auntie Pam, if you out there, you remember we used to go to the store and get the penny candies? Yeah, you used to go get your stash, girl. Oh, sticky, sugary candies. Oh, yeah. Caramels, gummy bears, Tootsie Rolls, Sour Patch Kids. They say they're tasty, but they stick to our teeth, and they say provide fuel for bacteria, and it leads to cavities. Surprise, surprise, right? Oh, they say the sugar-free versions of all of those are better, but still problematic because it still sticks to your teeth. So even if you go get some sugar-free gummy bears, which has gelatin in it, which is pork, for those of you who don't eat pork, get up on it. Yeah, don't eat it if you don't eat pork, because the gummy bears definitely have pork in it, okay? But anyway, what's the other sticky stuff that's sticking in your teeth? Come on, put it up in the chat room. I don't eat a whole lot of candy, so that stuff doesn't come to my mind. First thing, I'm a mint girl. I just can't stand all that candy. Hard candies. No, it was nothing harder than what's them apples? Remember the apples? They had that hard red candy on the outside. What was it called? Jelly apples. Oh my gosh. Who ate that stuff? You'd have to lick and lick and lick until you got down to the big apple, and then you could bite down on it. Twizzlers, yes. Twizzlers, thank you, Anika. Twizzlers definitely stick in your teeth. Well, them hard candies, like I said, them jawbreakers and the peppermints and all those other candies. Oh, good, Kitty. Swedish fish. That's right. And I like the Swedish fish. I love the Swedish fish. My mother used to buy those for me. I used to love the Swedish fish, but man, I can't stand them in my teeth. I just can't take it. So hard candies, we're talking about all the candies that are not good, that you eat, the food that you eat that's not good for your teeth. I'm trying to remember this without constantly going back and forth. Can y'all believe crackers are on this list? Crackers. Now, what's crackers doing on this list? They say starchy snacks are easy for bacteria to break down into sugar. Wow. That's interesting. Well, we gotta hold on to the crackers. Can't be eating the crackers all the time. Okay. They say make sure when you eat crackers that you floss and brush your teeth afterwards. At least rinse. Yeah, if they talking about bacteria from crackers, we messed up if we gotta worry about the crackers bad for our teeth. Because some of us can only eat crackers. You get all sensitive teeth. You can only eat crackers. Now you gotta worry about the crackers. Oh, Lord have mercy. Yep, Tootsie Rolls. Yes. Them apples. Yes. Oh, something else they say we eat that's bad for our teeth. They got hard chips on this list. Oh, my. Those tortilla chips. Let me tell you something. Up in this house, nachos reign. Everybody's a nacho freak. So, and that's all that goes with the nachos are the tortilla chips. Yes, but they said that tortilla chips could damage your dental work. Yeah, they say that's one of the biggest risks to our teeth for snack food. They say these chips should also be eaten with caution if someone has a compromised tooth that is susceptible to breaking. There you go. Well, that peanut broke my tooth, but Lord have mercy. Please don't let the tortilla chip break my tooth. I'm giving up after that. I'm giving up, y'all. I am straight giving up. They say the tooth may have had a filling or decay or an existing crack. And go ahead and eat them tortilla chips. It is only going to make matters worse. All right. Citrus fruits. Wow. Come on, yo. You keep telling us to eat fruits and vegetables. That's what we're doing. Now you're going to tell us that it's bad for our teeth? Oh, my. They say citrus fruits like lemons, oranges, grapefruits are all high in acid, which weakens the enamel and gives us frequent and direct exposure to the breakdown of our teeth. So they say make sure that when we eat the citrus fruit, that we rinse our mouth with plain flat water afterwards. Okay. Well, one of the reasons why they're probably mentioning the flat water is because they said that salsa water is also bad for the enamel on the teeth. So if you kind of flushing your mouth from the acid that's already killing the enamel, and then you put some more enamel killers on the top of it, yeah, you all messed up. So dried fruit is on this list. We're talking about foods you eat that are harmful to your teeth. Dried fruit tend to be sticky and adhere to your teeth. And they say, and while the sugar is natural, they are high in sugar, providing fuel for cavity-causing bacteria. Apples, pears, and melons all fit the bill if we're going to be eating dried fruit. All right. You know what else is hard? That's a dried fruit? Bananas. Man, when you eat the dried bananas, first of all, they sweet as heck. Oh my goodness gracious. They're sweet. And then when you bite on them, woo, don't have no tooth problems. You in trouble. Okay? No. You don't want to do that. Okay? Ice. How do people chew ice? I don't get it. Oh my goodness. It's hard on your teeth. Hard on your teeth. They say chewing ice can chip, crack, or weaken your teeth, especially as enamel thins with age. They say any food or drink can damage our teeth, but go ahead and throw that ice up in there. Man, you're going to be in for a rude awakening. Keep chewing that ice. Keep chewing that ice. All right. Popcorn. Oh, just kill me. Oh, just kill me. Just kill me. Because popcorn is my thing. But let me tell y'all something. When you get down to the bottom of those popcorn, see, and we like fresh popcorn. Yeah. I love regular popcorn, but my favorite, Shantice's favorite, we love freshly popped popcorn. And man, don't make a mistake and get down to them kernels. Woo! And bite down. You're not going to be happy. All right. They say if ice is the number one threat to your healthy teeth, then popcorn kernels are far behind. I knew that's what they were talking about. Because when you have the pop kernels, most times they're soft. But man, them kernels, they say them unpopped kernels are a killer. They can crack your teeth or damage dental implants. So be careful. Be careful. Okay? So they said make sure you brush your teeth. After you eat these things, make sure you rinse and floss after you eat these things. Let me see something. Let me see what the chat room is saying. Excuse me. Oh, yes, the candy apples. Yes. The candy apples. Good morning, AJ. Thank you for checking in. Gum is bad for your teeth, Terrence. Yes. And if you got a messed up bottom set like I do, I ain't got no bottom teeth, so I can't even chew gum. So I ain't got to worry about that because I don't even bother. Anika says popcorn is her favorite. And Terrence says, wow, and I love to eat ice cream. Oh, I'm glad you clarified that, Terrence, because I'm like, we need to order ice cream. Ice, yes. He says he loves to eat ice. And Tamika says the most annoying is to get a kernel stuck near your gum. Ouch. Ooh, that sounds painful, Tamika. And gum adds air into your system. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Ooh, I think we can really come up with some stuff as far as information. Well, I want to go over something really quickly. I know I'm kind of stepping into um my news time, but I came across this a couple of weeks ago, and I definitely want to talk about this today. They're giving some tips on what to do if you accidentally swallow a fish bone. Yeah, and I know a lot of people don't eat fish because they got a bone caught in their throat when they were like 5 and they're like 93 and they still not messing with the fish. If they got bones, they are running. But they said that if you got like a tooth, bone stuck in your throat or deep down in your tooth, they say it may cause coughing, bleeding, definitely discomfort in your swallowing, and you need to get some medical attention. Do not try to do this on your own, especially if it's caught in a certain way in your tooth. And I've had that happen a long time ago where it got stuck down in my gums, and oh my goodness, I couldn't even wait till the next day to go to no dentist or medical thing. I just had to keep picking, and it finally came. If you feel that a fish bone is lodged in your throat, that you can't cough or spit it out, there are certain foods that might help dislodge it. Okay, they say get a squishy, thick banana, some marshmallows, and some bread can also assist in getting the fish bones out of your throat and down the path to digestion. All right. They say if it's caught, avoid eating foods with salt, spiciness, or acidity because they can act as throat irritants. So if you got a fish bone stuck in your throat, do not eat food with lots of salt, spiciness, or acidity. Okay? So I don't know. Somebody needed that because it's been sitting out here for a couple of weeks. All right? All right. What are we talking about today in our news? News wasn't really hitting on nothing much, but I did manage to pull up a couple of interesting things. Let me just add this as a disclaimer. One thing I realize is now that Trump is in office, that's all our news are never going to be like Trumpless. Yeah, it is always going to include some Trump stuff. All right. So today we're talking about Trump's new passport rules. Wow. Yo, this man is into everything. You hear what I'm telling you? Everything. Well, here's the deal with the passport rules. For those who are actually applying for a new passport or you're renewing your passport, he has passed a rule that you must put male or female. You must check the one that you were assigned at birth. No longer an X, no longer some other options. That is scrapped, and scrapped. And they are raising hell about it. They say the transgender people and the binary individuals, they are really going crazy. The American Civil Liberties Union, that's the ACLU of Massachusetts, and a law firm, Covington and Burling LLP, are petitioning on behalf of 7 people. Well, it's 7 people now, because those are the first 7 that then got a whiff of this thing here. But yeah, they are really fussing about this here, and they do not have any intention on being compliant with this rule. Now, unfortunately, things are being held up for their passport, because if you don't check that part, they can't approve your passport. Now, they say that it's not going to really affect your cruising much, because remember now, with the federal ID, the enhanced or the real ID, it gives you an opportunity to travel, to certain from. So I got this part now, because I was a little confused before. Why is it certain Caribbean islands you can and some you can't use your ID? If you're leaving from United States and you're going on a Caribbean cruise, most times you're not going that far out that you need a passport. So the islands that you're going to from New York, I'm sorry, from United States, you can just simply use your regular ID, that enhanced federal ID. But anyway, you got to use a passport. If you were planning on going and you fighting with this, I want to be more than a female or a male, you ain't going nowhere no time soon, because it's there. Okay. So unless a judge comes back and says that, hey, I'm putting a halt on this. But what does that mean? That means you still can't go nowhere. Yeah. So I don't know. Now, here's my thought. Now, y'all call me crazy, because I want to know what the DEW Time crew thinks. And I want y'all to put in the chat room what you think. So here's my thought. My thought is, we're talking about traveling, and we're talking about legal documents, passports, and these IDs and things like that that are requiring, it's an identification. A while ago, a couple of years ago, we talked about how they were trying to move the birth certificates from having male or female. And I don't know what they look like now, because I ain't had no baby. But here's my thought. And like I said, I want you to help me. Maybe I'm not thinking rationally. My thing is, these are federal concerns. We're talking about things that are supposed to help identify who you are. That's why they're asking for male or female. If now you're going with who you identify with, that doesn't really tell us who you are. So if you're now walking around as a woman and you were birthed a male, or you were birthed a female and you're walking around as a male, unless you got a sex change where your gender is now altered for Stephanie, it needs to be your birth assignment. Because if I'm supposed, where's our protection? Because if this is supposed to help identify who you are, you're supposed to be able to look as a person who is involved in this traveling. If you're supposed to take this identification, look at that individual and say, okay, as far as I can see with my eyes, this is the individual. Now, we know you could dress up and all of that kind of stuff. I got that. I'm following that. But I'm sorry. For me, and I want to let me know what y'all think. But for me, I'm having a hard time with this. I'm having a hard time with, you can show up at the airport with looking like anything, and your passport says anything, or your birth certificate says anything. Now, they're not pulling down your pants and they're not checking for your genitals, but I don't know. That's just where my head goes. If this was just, you want to get in the club, maybe it wouldn't matter. If you just want to, go here or there, it wouldn't matter. But if these are identity type documents, then it needs to go with your birth assignment. It does. And you know what? Maybe what they can do is have something secondary. Yeah, maybe they could do that. This is my birth assignment, and this is what I'm living as. I don't think that's crazy. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm just kind of, my thing is, if it's on any other kind of document, that's fine. But if this is like school, and like I said again, this passport and birth certificate, these are supposed to identify who you are. Then how is it who you identify as? That's not who you are. So I guess it's based on who's using the terminology, right? Right. I guess. I don't know. That's just Stephanie's crazy way of thinking. That's just my crazy way of thinking. All right, what else are we talking about? Oh, the Army's got something to say. Yep. Trump is in the Army now. Yes. Yes, yes. And this is going to blow your mind possibly, because it definitely blew my mind. So, thanks to Trump, now they are no longer allowing transgender people to join the military. Now, can I be honest with you? I never even knew they were. No, because at one point, this was such a taboo thing to be gay or homosexual or transgender and all of that kind of stuff. So I had no idea that they had even shifted from that. Now, here's the thing. Not only are they saying they're not accepting any transgender people, but they are saying they're not helping anybody get a sex change anymore. Oh, you kidding me? Yo, they say between January 1st of 2016 and May 14th of 2021, the Department of Defense reportedly spent approximately $15 million on transgender treatments, surgical and non-surgical, to 1,892 active duty service members. What are we doing? So now you join the military and now they're helping you with all of this? What is that? Because you want to help defend the country? Wow. Yes. I was blown away because, like I said, I'm a 60s girl. So, you going back when I was growing up, you hid that thing. If you were in the military and you were gay, you did not tell people you were gay. That's a life you lived under the covers, in the closet. You did not want to be in no military and be gay because they said they were targeted, they were mistreated. Yeah, the whole 9 yards. And now you're talking about they spent $15 million providing surgical and non-surgical procedures? Wow. Wow. Boy, our money is all over the place. Our money is all over the place. Yes, I say our money because I pay taxes too. Yes, I do. Oh, what else are we talking about? I can't wait to hear from the Due Time crew here and see what they think about this. All right, what else? I got a couple more minutes to chat here. Well, for those of you who want to put your kids in Catholic school, that's becoming less and less likely. Yeah, they are closing down. In New York City, they say they are closing down another 7 Catholic schools. And a few of them are kind of isolated to the Bronx. So the Bronx is taking a real big hit on this Catholic school closing. Now, here's another thing I didn't realize. They said over the past years that the Catholic entity has been doing so bad, because at one point we saw all the Catholic schools closing, we saw the hospitals closing, and they kind of slowed down on that. But what we did not realize was they were merging. Yes, the Catholic schools have been merging over the last few years in order to keep themselves running. So they're doing that bad now. They're not even merging. not even merging is helping. And they're saying, well, basically the bottom line is the skyrocketing tuition. They said the tuition is out of control. They are saying that the numbers are they're saying the numbers are so out of control that people basically can't afford it anymore. And for the fact that people are not churchy. Yeah. They say that religion is really not a big issue anymore the way it used to be. So between that and people not being able to afford it, it's helping to make that decision that much easier. That why am I putting my child in Catholic school at these astronomical expenses when I really don't even care nothing about no church? Because years ago, it was a thing of discipline, it was a thing of better education than the public schools and things like that. But a lot of it had to do with it was a Catholic thing. Catholic people like to put their kids in Catholic school. They supported their Catholic church by putting their kids in Catholic school. So, oh well, that's what's going on. That is what's going on. So, where's my due time crew? I'm having a hard time here with my little device, but I want to pull up my due time crew. Who's on deck? Is my girl Tamika here with us? Let's see what she's got to say. Like today, Brother Al is sleeping in because school is closed. So hey there, Brother Al. Good morning. How are you?
Monday morning. I am A-OK. How are you?
I am well, thank you. I am well. How are you?
I'm good. I brought my +1 over here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So happy to see you both. Like I said, I anticipated seeing Brother Al this morning. Didn't expect for him to be on your screen, but I'm happy nonetheless. Let me see. Let me go back to some of our comments before we move forward. Terrence says, I am one of them people. I don't eat fish with any bones. Yeah, he probably got a bone stuck up in his throat years ago. No more. I identify as rich or a cat. All right, I can get it. AJ says, I don't understand how they have so much money to change body parts. However, we have so many homeless people. I think America has their priorities out of order. Absolutely. And that is talking about our news this morning. Let me make sure we're catching all of the news. We're talking about, let's go back to this. Trump is mandating that on the passport, you only have male and female now. All them extra options, he said, bye-bye. I'm not trying to give you those options. What's your thought, Tamika?
Well, that's one time where I totally agree. It's just too much, I identify as a kitchen table, I identify as a keeper. Because there's just so many options, we started out with two genders, and we learned that there's double digit um genders according to the alphabet, and you getting up there and looking, I watch them when they take our passports and that type of stuff, and it goes through that machine and that type of thing. Now you gotta, XYZ. It's just too confusing. Male or female, make it real simple. That shuts everything down. No more confusion, no more trying to shake your head and trying to figure out what people are. And it doesn't matter. I mean, really, honestly, male, female. What do you look like? Male. What do you look like? Female. It makes it very simple.
Okay. Brother Al, what you think? What do you think about this isolation to just either or, not this whole litany of options as to who you are?
First, I want to say, chop, chop of the morning, chop, chop of the morning. That's first and foremost.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. Uh, I'm mad because I was trying to identify as $10 billion and didn't mess that up. So I can't identify as $10 billion no more. but you know what? On a serious note, I'm glad he's doing that because it needs to stop. You know, people can get mad at me. I don't care because they taking it too far. They just coming up with stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, what does that mean? I be hearing the kids talk. I'm like, where the heck did that come from? You know? And I remember listening to an interview on the radio with a singer Doja Cat. Right? They talking to her, and this fool just sitting there meowing. How do you feel that? I promise you, Steph. They were like, how do you feel that your record is doing so well? She was like, meow. I'm like, are you serious? Are you serious? It need to stop. That's right. It should be two. Now, I do like what you had said earlier, Pastor Steph, that, okay, if you're going to do that, then you should have two identifications. You know, one as what you was born as, and one identification is what you saying I am now, or what I didn't transition. I think that's a good idea. And pay for it too. We need that. We paying all these tax dollars. You pay for it too, so get two. So I agree with you. You need to stop. Stop.
Okay. I mean, it would make sense because, again, if you've done something to alter your look, then although you identify, your birth, you were born a man, you're now identifying as a male. So now it would give some type of information, because my thing is, it's for our safety. This is identity documents is for our safety. So somebody looks in there like, okay, well, you're not impersonating, or you're not trying to be, or you're supposed to be able to look and see who these people are. So if you've got all of this stuff going on the birth certificate or the passport, then how do you tell who's who? So I don't know. Maybe make it make sense, as they say. All righty. We're talking about this army thing. Ooh. Wow. The Army has stopped allowing transgender people to join not just the Army, but the military. They've stopped allowing them transgender people to join the military. And the thought is, well, what's the big deal? If somebody is going to fight for the country, leave them alone. Leave them alone. Let them go ahead and be who they are and leave them alone. But my thing was when they said there was 15 million spent on transgender treatments. Yo, Tamika, what we talking about?
I'm completely shocked. I had no idea that they were actually helping them do that. Nowhere in my mind had I even fathomed that, okay, so we're going to help you get this change, and the money that is spent to get that done, also, Al's brother works in a facility where they have had the procedures done. The thing that you get at it doesn't work, but so, I mean, like, if you're going to change something for me, at least, it needs to be able to work. But, the individual says that they feel as though they're a man because they have the apparatus. But as for sexual function, it doesn't do what it's supposed to do, so I just don't see the use or the purpose, and my thing is, we're paying for it. That's my tax money. That's his tax money. That's your tax money, that we're spending. There are a lot of things that I don't agree with when it comes to Trump, but for this, I'm 100%. I'm applauding him for that part.
Brother Al, the Army has spent $15 million on transgender operations and procedures, but they didn't tell us anything about this. They didn't ask us how we felt.
Absolutely. I want my money back. They should have told me I'd have been stop paying taxes. Don't use my money on nonsense. What's wrong with you? That's absolute crazy, and he should. And then they wonder why we, are in the hole with so much money, you know, and so much money that we don't have, and this and that, because you spend it on nonsense. If that's something they want to do, then save up your money, go out, collect you some cans, and save up your change or whatever you need to do, and get it done yourself. Or they should have had a vote and say, okay, how do you guys feel about spending your tax money on this? You just took our money and did what you want to do. No, no, sir. Like Ralph Cramden, no, sir, sir, no, sir.
Yeah, they are doing a whole lot of stuff that, we have no say. We have no say. We have no say at all. We have a comment from Serge. I agree with AJ. Every day I see a homeless person sleeping in the trains or stations. And if it's not in the train, outside in the street, with this money, it could have gone to something more important. Absolutely. And to the transgender community, this is important. But again, this is, some would say, what's the word I want to use? Optional. And I guess some people would say, well, the homelessness sometimes is optional. Boy, we got a whole lot of decisions to make. Woo, thank you for joining me, the Bynums. Let's talk to Pastor KL. Good morning, Pastor KL. You know what? What in the world is
This is my plus one. This is my plus one.
What do I have to be subjected to this? Nobody asked my permission. Nobody.
Hey, you should have known she would have been on as a holiday.
Oh my goodness.
I like him light skinned now.
Good morning, KL.
Good morning.
Okay. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness. All right. We're talking about Trump and his decision to shut down his passport option of male, female, and then some. What's your thought? Should he leave it as it is and let whoever identifies as something different or something other than male or female put that down? Or should he limit it to birth assignment? That's it.
Birth assignment. I mean, he's now doing a little bit. He's trying to get a little black. Yeah, birth assignment. I mean, that's the best thing. I don't want to figure out who you are. Just like, I always tell the story of my job. I don't want to guess who you are. We got a men's room and we got a women's room. You know what I mean? If you in between, you go into the tree outside. Pick your poison. That's it. No, I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, the Army has shut down the transgender opening. They are no longer, not Army, I keep saying Army, the military is shutting down the ability to join if you are transgender. And they said they will not spend any more money on assisting you with any transgender procedures. What's your thought?
I'm in agreement. That's not a life-threatening procedure. So let's just say, for argument's sake, Pastor Steph want a BBL because it's not fitting right in the uniform. Should we pay for that? Because that's what you want? No, because when you march, it just sags a little bit. No, we're not doing all that stuff. Why should we have to be subjected to that? So here, all this money we are paying, for you to get surgery because you don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable marching with you. How about that? You gonna give me some money? I got to be in the barracks with you. You gonna give me some money? Now I'm mentally distraught. What about that?
Okay. Serge says, imagine one of them becoming a general in the military and say you have to address them as general, they or them. And that would be a little confusing, wouldn't it be? Yes, What are you saying, sir? Can how would you know whether they say sir or ma'am or whatever have you? Listen, personally, I don't care how you live your life. That's between you and God. That ain't got nothing to do with that. If you ain't my kids, I ain't got nothing to say. That's between y'all. And how much do I have to say if it's one of my kids? They grown now. But when it comes to all these other areas, again, there's no consulting of whose money you're spending. So all of this is going on, and now the rules are kind of going backwards. It's going backwards to what it used to be, and people are not really caring for it. And it matters. It matters to some people. Okay, so I get my cord ready, and now it's stuck. So y'all gonna have to excuse me because I can't plug up. I'm sorry.
This is why they took you out the military, because you're just not ready for battle.
Hey,
Pastor Kel, what do your plus one identify as?
Light skin. But you know what, Pastor Steph, that statement you made was a little light when you said you don't care what they do in their personal life, which is true to an extent. But when your personal life starts infringing on my life, then I care about your personal life. You know what I mean? Let's just say Brother Al and I on the basketball team, and you on the other team. Now you in the locker room with me. What you do on the other team is okay. But now if you start looking at my cheeks, a little differently, we got a problem.
Okay, so if they're looking, so what? What if you?
No. I'm sorry, no. I'm not looking at Al. No. That's
you.
not good.
That's you. You're not looking at Al. But if somebody's looking at you, so what?
No, are you crazy?
I agree.
No one is agreeing with you. No one is agreeing with you.
No, sir. No, sir.
Listen, turn off your mic.
Oh my goodness! I mean, come on. If a person is looking and they don't touch, what difference does it make?
Okay, wait. When I went to college, my roommate was that preference. She was a basketball player, and that was her preference. She liked women, and like when I went to the shower, I had on a robe, a towel, everything. When I went into the bathroom, I took my stuff, my clothes, my change of everything. It was very uncomfortable. And then it makes you feel creepy because it's like you're a woman, I'm a woman, and you're looking at me like, no, yeah, when you experience it, and no, nope.
Uncomfortability.
What'd you say?
I said uncomfortability. That's what it is. It make you feel uncomfortable. It make you feel uncomfortable.
Well, maybe if you stayed overweight like I did, ain't nobody looking at me. So.
No, they like you too, Pastor Steph. Watch your back.
Yeah, they like them fluffy, baby. They like them fluffy.
Oh my goodness gracious! What we got in these comments? Oh my goodness gracious! That money's going into their pocket. That's why. But if they spend the money on our bums, they won't have enough to put in their pockets. Oh, okay. Hey Viv, good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. All righty. So here we are. We're talking about intimacy today. As always, on our Mondays, we talk about relationships, and they're talking about the older adults who are unhappy in their marriages. They reveal what it's actually like. And I wanted to throw some of these things out there and see what you all had to say in regards to, people who have been in marriages and they stay in the marriage. They're unhappy, but they stay in the marriage. So One person says, we met the summer after high school, married at 21, and had kids at 23. I never really had a chance to figure myself out before becoming a full-time mom. I struggle daily with not knowing who I am or what my purpose is outside of being a mom. What makes it even harder is that nobody in my friend group went down the same path as me. So I've never had a strong support system or real friends that aren't just the parents of my kids. What say you, Tamika? This is a common complaint.
Yeah.
What's
I'm
going on
sorry.
over here?
He
Y'all
keeps
get different devices.
coming out of the frame.
I try to
for
move.
some
I
reason.
try to move over and let her speak. That's why I move over and let her
Not
speak.
necessary. But yeah, I've seen situations like that where, as soon as you got married, you got pregnant, or you were pregnant before you got married, and then your life transitions wholly. Now it's the child, and it's hard to you don't get an opportunity to go back to where you were before. So it's a difficult, and there's no book. I mean, there's plenty of, self-help things out there, but a lot of times they don't really help. Sometimes you need a guide. Sometimes you need, Big Mama and them, Medea and them, to be able to help you to understand where you are and how to get, how to make that work. And my heart goes out to this, this individual that's having that issue. But it does happen, and you need to seek prayer, seek those who know, those who've been there. This is one of the reasons why Big Mama and them are beneficial, because they can, they can lead you, they can pray you through, they can help you when the times get very, very difficult.
Okay, Brother Al, what do you do? What do you do when you find yourself stuck like that?
Yeah, it's a hard decision, but you got to start thinking of, okay, what's going to make me happy? I think the worst thing ever is being with somebody and living with somebody and being together and you're not happy. I've been down that road, and it's not a good feeling. It just messes up the rest of your life. Like, hey, I don't want to go home, or I don't even really feel like being with this person. But you know what? I got a baby with this person. Listen, I got some baby mamas, so I'm telling you, I know. And I think one of the biggest things that I would suggest to anybody is marriage counseling. Like people, before you get married, the marriage counseling. I think that was the best thing me and Tamika ever did before we got married, was the marriage counselor. Because at first I was like, wow, okay, what is this person gonna tell us how we should live our life? And I was like, all right, you know what, let's do it. And it was awesome. It was, it was totally different. We had a guy that's an elder from the church, and not our church, but from a different, he lives down south. And it was, me and Tamika looked forward to meeting this guy on Zoom and talking, where we was able to be honest about things, honest about each other. And it helped so much. But, especially like, as you mentioned, this was younger people, and younger people, they do that. They don't think, oh, we in love, let's go get married. They don't understand the seriousness of it or what comes along with it. And now when they get married, now that they have these children, everything is different. So, people need to take their time, get to know people. And like I said, I definitely would say do marriage counseling. It's really, really good. And it's important.
Okay. Pastor KL, what would you say to this individual?
Get you a plus one that don't talk back. And you don't need marriage counseling. But what I would say is, listen, and I say it all the time, babies don't make a marriage. They don't constitute a marriage. And unfortunately, females, and men do it too. They think if I knock you up or if I get a baby, then I got you locked down for life. You know what I mean? And that just makes you even more frustrated, because if he didn't want the baby, or if you didn't want to be pregnant, now you're resenting him and you're resenting the baby. And to stay in a marriage just because of the baby is more toxic to the baby than to you or he. Because at some point you can walk away or you can get a breather. The baby don't get a breather from that, because the baby's in the middle. He or she can't walk away. So he or she has to digest this and live in this kind of toxicity. So that's really sad.
Yeah, I'm looking at this thing that says we met after high school, married at 20, had kids at 23, and now they're probably like in their 50s and they're trying to figure out, well, we're here now, we stuck until the kids are older, and now that we're together, do we separate, or now we got grandchildren, now is it time that we can have free, I remember when I was in some forum and we were talking about, what should people do before they get married? And my advice is go get your education, finish up your schooling for whatever career you're choosing, go ahead and live your life, travel, do the whole 9 yards. Because once you get married, the life shifts, and now you're going to have to pay attention to your child or children. You're going to have to pay attention to your husband, and you do not want, like has been said, you don't want to live resenting. Oh, I ain't get to go nowhere, and now I'm saddled with the kids, and now I ain't got no life, and all. This is the life that you made. This is the life that you chose. Now you can't go back. There's nothing you could do. And there's whatever you do, you don't want to stay in no relationship that's going nowhere. You don't want to be in a relationship where it's unhappy. This woman is talking about the fact that she doesn't even have people who don't have kids in her clique, in her circle. And that is definitely something that's going to help her to resent, because if she did all of this early, she ain't got no friends like that. So now everybody is a play date. All my life, all I know is play date and playing wife. So listen, live your life before you make these decisions, before you have these children, before you get married. Live your life. So by the time you actually get married, have children, you cool, you settled, you've done everything you wanted to do. You raise your children, and then there's life after your children become adults. But if you do this early, like this woman here, oh yeah, there's going to be some problems. How do you stay together? You're going to have to seek some counseling after the marriage. Al talked about counseling, premarital counseling. You need counseling now. You need counseling for you, and you need counseling for both of you. Because this here, you can't just walk off. And even if you walked off, where would that get you? Now you still caught up in a situation, because now you got children to worry about. So I don't know. All right, is there a comment? Let's see if there's a comment. They stay because they are too comfortable. That's all. And sometimes it is. Sometimes people are comfortable and they don't go anywhere. You're absolutely right. That ain't no good. No good. Married 22 years, I suspected my wife had affairs in the past, but I couldn't confirm. About 10 years ago, I caught her dry humping a guest at our party.
Wow.
We had a brief argument with her punching me while intoxicated. I was determined to leave, but couldn't bear the thought of not being with my 9-year-old son. The next day, she apologized and we continued the marriage. Today, we are still together, but there's no romance and no sex in 2 years. I want to leave, but so much is tied up with finances and the house that it may not be worth it. Brother Al. Woo!
Woo! I see that too. That's crazy. He said he suspected that she was cheating, so obviously she was she right in front of your face, dry humping somebody in front of your face. So that gave you your information right there. And I've been there where my youngest son, I was with her because my son was there, and we was never married or anything, but I felt, man, if I don't be with her or around her, I don't get to see my son. And it absolutely miserable until I just decided, hey, listen, you know what? I still can see my son. I don't have to be with her. I don't have to be around her. I'll pick some time, come pick up my son, and and go about my business. Because now again, a couple of things happening with that. You're blocking your blessings from, God sending you somebody who's right for you, because you're stuck with this woman.
Absolutely.
You're already not doing nothing else. So why not just leave and just pick a time where, hey, I'll come to get my son on this weekend, or I'll do this. And if she act crazy, we go to court and we let the court decide. but he needs to get out. I've been there, so no, sir, get out.
All righty. Tamika, you know, the dilemma in these stories, we're together. We done been together all this time. I don't know whether to leave or whether to stay. What's going on here? What do we do?
You've got to make you have got to make a choice. You can't straddle the fence on that one. You're going to end up hurting yourself. Just the visualization of straddling the fence means that you ultimately get hurt. And I've seen situations like that where you're not happy at home. We discussed this recently last week, where you're not happy at home and you're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and ultimately the one that hurts the most is you. Because you can't even really breathe well. You turn your head to the left, you got to turn your head to the right. You can't even walk straight because there's always something vying back and forth. You've got to make a decision. Either stay with this, with the wife, or, get your freedom, and trust and believe you get far greater sleep. You're going to have some moments where, trying to get access to your child may be difficult. Maybe she harbors issues, and every time you try to see your child, she makes it even harder. But, staying in that environment where you want to do something, because you're going to end up having yourself get to the point where you're so angry. We've already seen that she hit you. What happens when you hit her? That's a whole nother story, especially if she's a Black woman. It's party over.
Okay. Pastor KL.
Well, dry humping. This is a story for Pastor Jeff. He's familiar with this one.
You know what? Oh my God.
But I think, the old folks used to say, it's cheaper to keep her. And I think this is where they're stuck at. They just think it's cheaper because they have all these finances locked in to different things. But, as everybody else was saying, you're going to be the daddy, whether you're married, whether that's your girlfriend, you're going to be the daddy, so that shouldn't be your excuse on why you stay. And if she's a woman of color and makes it difficult for you, as Al says, there's legal ramifications, that you can go through, to get your true rights. But no one should stay just because the kids are going to be your kids, whether you're there or not.
Absolutely. Listen, sometimes people just make better parents outside the house.
Right.
Because first of all, there's a level of peace. There's that level of chaos that's not there. The children are not watching you sleep in 2 separate rooms and y'all fighting all the time. And just go. You go east, they go west. And the child is just going to have to adjust. And children adapt a lot quicker than they don't. And a lot of kids, I would have preferred for my parents to be separate, because there's no way in the world I enjoy all this arguing and all of this bickering and this upset in the home. You don't understand that where y'all trying to claim that, the kids need us. No, go ahead and go your separate ways. Y'all will be much better parents in 2 separate homes. You can provide a whole lot more love and peace to those children's lives than trying to make it work underneath one roof. No, that's not going to work.
And the residual that the children end up, now all of a sudden, let's just say the daughter's used to being yelled at. So if she gets into a relationship with a man who's calm and speaks to her well, she doesn't know how to adapt to it because all she ever heard was yelling and screaming.
Right. And you teach children a whole lot when you make those things normal.
Right.
You teach them a whole lot. Absolutely.
You show them a lot better than you can tell them.
That's right. Here's an interesting one. We got married very young, although that ended up not being the specific issue. We also had kids very young, and that did contribute to the issue. But the biggest difficulty we have had revolved around her dad having bipolar disorder and me not thinking about what that might mean regarding her and our kids. I was too young to think about what life might be like managing a household with multiple people, all with slightly different mental health issues, from mania to depression. I was not prepared for it, and it causes my own mental health issues, especially when my spouse isn't in a state to provide me any help. My advice would be to spend some extra time thinking about your future life together before. Well, forget about that. That's where it ends. Okay. She can't provide me any help. Oh, Pastor KL, where do we go from here?
He's muted.
What are you doing?
I'm sorry. I didn't know I was muted. My plus one was talking to me.
Well, what are you doing this bipolar situation?
Yeah. First of all, you're dating someone who already previously had the issue. He didn't become bipolar after you decided to have children. So you didn't think this thing out too well. You know, that potentially, your child could have an issue. First of all, you got to be a certain kind of special person yourself to want to be wrapped up with someone who's bipolar. Because at any time you don't know who you're dealing with, or who you talking to. Now you got him and the child with 14 personalities. No. That's an issue, and you almost
Wait. The issue is the father has the bipolar disorder. And now the wife and the children, I guess, because of, some genetics, there's some, behavior patterns and things going on in the house. But he married her with the father being in the house. And he's saying, I didn't realize.
The grandfather?
Yes, I didn't
realize.
Okay. His father-in-law is the one with bipolar disorder. And he didn't realize when they got married how this would affect the entire household, is what he said.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm thinking it's the father of the child. But yeah. I mean, it's going to come down. Listen, anytime you get something, or you go to the doctor, they want to know the history of your parents and your grandparents, so all this stuff, it's in the lineage, it's in the bloodline. So at any point, you can get caught up with that. They told me that twins skip a generation. Well, it didn't. I'm a twin and I had twins. You know what I mean? So they lied to me. I've been bamboozled. So I'm just saying that, if it's in your bloodline, these things can happen. So these are the things that you should have thought of before you got with this person. And then to let the father-in-law stay with y'all, even if it wasn't in your blood, this is what you see. So sometimes children mimic what they see.
Wow. Okay. Brother Al.
Very simple. The father-in-law got to go. Why are they making it hard? Why are you making it hard? A father-in-law, I love you to death, but you and all those people got to go. We're gonna help y'all find a full 5-bedroom apartment, depending on how many people you are. That's how many bedrooms we gonna get. You gotta go. I'll come visit you. I'm saying you gotta go. You're hurting my household. You gotta go. It sounds mean, but you're disrupting my household. I'm gonna help you get into a facility, but I sit there. And Tamika, I love you, right? I love your dad. Okay. We got to find your dad a place because he's causing a ruckus up in here. Now, what do you think? But that's my dad. Okay, then you going with him. Okay. but no, seriously, he got to go. Seriously, he got to go. You caused a ruckus, and it's just what Pastor Kale said. Kids, people don't understand. Kids are like a sponge, and they will mimic. They will mimic you, And so, no, you got to go. I'm sorry. I hope you find a place.
Okay, Tamika.
Well, this is one of those things where you have conversations before you get married. in our both of our parents are deceased, so we didn't have that. But it was one of the things that we stood ground on, is that if either one of our parents were living, we're not bringing the in-laws in. That's not going to happen, and now you're in this situation and there's all kinds of havoc going. You got 12 people inside of you and each one of them is making decisions, causing all kinds of havoc to member of the household. So you got 12 people inside this one individual. You got a wife and 3-4 kids. So you got at least 20 people in the household wreaking havoc, And again, the children are the ones who see all of this. And you don't know if those children could have some other issues from grandpa, and so when you're in the dating phase, these are things, you ask questions, I want to know, your daddy crazy? Your daddy, is your daddy bipolar? I want to know. These are questions that you ask, and when you start asking, you start seeing, when you start getting into deep and delving questions, you'll see this way. Even if I never met the father, the fact that you tell me that this happened in the past and this happened in the past, then that starts me to ask him questions, and it causes the ball to get rolling. Again, that counseling is so crucial prior to getting into a marriage, so that you don't find yourself, now, oh my God, I'm having a hard time. You still need to, not just in the beginning, continue to have counseling, continue to read books that help you open up levels of conversation that you hadn't thought of before, because these things are going to come out, and you won't have to wait 10, 20 years down the line. You'll know in the very beginning.
And Pastor Steph, kids are honest. I can see a kid come up now, hey, Dad, yeah, why is Grandpa bugging out?
It's true. They say what comes to their mind. They don't understand that it's not appropriate. Yeah, it makes sense. Here's our last scenario. Despite dating my husband for nearly 7 years before we married, I realize now, after 48 years, that I didn't really know him. I underestimated the effect his culture upbringing was different from mine, that it would have an effect on the marriage. For example, I grew up in an upper middle class family. His family was working class. His mother never worked outside the home, and his father was lord and master. Unfortunately, this was the view my husband has of marriage. A wife is for cooking, cleaning, sex, child rearing, etc. I was to keep my teaching job, manage 3 kids, and do it all on my own with no help from him. He said there is only going to be one person in this house who makes the decisions, and it isn't going to be you. I have had no say about anything other than to have chicken or pork chops for dinner. He consults and informs me about little. Despite doing it all on my own, this man claims that he has felt like he was married to a 12-year-old during the marriage. Woo, Tamika. Ouch.
As soon as this one stopped, wow. I don't even know how to married to a 12-year-old. And so my job is to cook and clean, shuck and buck and do whatever it is that you want me to do, is basically what you're saying, and again, in that initial, those are questions, that you have to ask, especially, when you find out their background. You say you from a country where that's what they do, and I'm marrying you. These are questions. Listen, okay, fine. He looks good, he talks good, but you have to really delve into questions that, would let you know, oh, no. I remember in my past, I was talking to a gentleman from another country, and I was saying to him, what is your background like? And he was telling me, oh, well, it was along those same lines, the woman, cooked and cleaned and that type of thing. And I was like, okay, that's good for you, but not for me. I was born here in America, and I get choices and things that I can do, and that tells you automatically, that you decide, you either condone that or you don't. It's up to the woman at this point to decide, am I willing to deal with this type of behavior? How far does that go? You know, what is that? Are you comfortable with just cooking and cleaning and that's all that you have to offer? You know, obviously he showed signs prior to. You can't tell me that in 7 years you never saw any signs of anything. Something he said, something he did, some behavior, some type of body language told you that this is what you were going to have to experience. I'm pretty sure, very in the very beginning of the relationship, something that he did or said. Okay, fine, he paid for the bill. That's all well and good. But then there was something else that kept you or inhibited you from doing something. And that point, you should have said, okay, you know, obviously to me at that point, it was fine for you for 7 years. You felt like that was okay. Now you're in it. What you going to do now?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Brother Al, what say you?
7 years of tribulation. You know, man, like you said, it's so important the talk and know thing. You know, sometimes people get so caught up with just the idea of, hey, I'm married. You know, some people get, you know, especially a lot of women, unfortunately, they get a kick out of saying, oh, my husband. That's like a big word for them. So again, she had to see this. And now 48, it took you 48 years to get tired. You know what I'm saying? So you should have got out. And like you said, most of the time, those are those men from those countries, you know, no disrespect. But I see that all the time. These men from other countries, that's how it is in their country, especially Africa. Oh, yeah. The African man gonna treat you like a queen. So is his other wives, he gonna treat like a king, queen. You know what I'm saying? So again, some people get infatuated. Yeah, some people get infatuated with being married, and they be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna change him, or it's gonna be different with me. And it's the same thing. But you know, 48 years, you might as well go and finish out now.
That's a life sentence.
It's like a basketball game. You might as well go finish out, run the clock out. Ready to run the clock out.
Oh my goodness gracious. Pastor KL, Brother Al says you might as well go ahead and run the clock down.
I mean, you're closer to death than you are to life at this point. You know what I mean? you got more years behind you than you do in front of you. But the other thing too is that, you know, 7 years. So you've never been over to his parents' house when you heard the wife saying, "Yes, my lord. What do you need, my lord?" You know, you never saw this. You know what I mean? And then at 7 years, you couldn't have been spiritual. Because 7 is the number of completion. It would have been done after 7 years. We wouldn't have got married. There's no way in the world there's no way I can see. Just looking at Tamika telling Al, "What would you like to eat, my lord?" Are you crazy? Nigga, are you hungry? That would be the question. You know what I'm saying? That would be the question. So it would be my lord, you know. But I just think that I don't know how she standing for 48 years after the 7 years of seeing what the in-laws went through. How did you think it was going to be different at your house? You know, fortunately, a man does what he's grown up with. You know, if he has no father or he doesn't have two parents, he kind of wings it on the fly. But he a lot of time imitates and emulates his father if he sees that that's working. You know, if that's the way he's grown up and the man is the Lord, then yes, I'm the Prince of Zamunda. I am the Lord. Now we do. I don't ask you, what do you like? No, I don't ask you that. You like what I like. Because that's how we were grown. If I told you to build a drum, go outside and build a drum. That's it.
Or the ark.
What's funny for us, and it's a running joke, is when we went into our counseling, our counselor used the scripture 1 Peter 3:6, where it says, "And even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, ye are her daughters, and as long as you do well and are not afraid with any bewilderment." And he went back to our counselor and said he didn't think that the marriage was going to work because I refused to call him Lord.
It's right there in the scripture, Pastor Steph. Right there in the scripture. She just read it. You call me something I ain't gonna be.
She's disobedient, Al. She's disobedient.
You shouldn't have married her.
Right. You'll find out 28 years later.
You had your warning.
It's a running joke with us, but it's a serious thing, And I remember I was sitting here in the living room and Tamika came in there and she was looking for something and she found it and she said, "Thank you, Lord." And I said, "You're welcome." And she said, "I'm careful what she said, Robbie. She be careful what she said. And she knows she said Lord. I'm like, huh?
I can't say Lord. Ridiculous.
Leave it up to you. Leave it up to you. Oh, my DEW Time crew. Always an amazing time with you. Thank you so much for your contribution into today's conversation, and we pray you have a blessed day.
You Pastor Steph, I'm gonna be on all week. Thursday, Friday. You need me Wednesday? Let me know. I'll be on there Wednesday too.
All right. That's right. I forgot the school is closed for the whole week. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
All righty. Thank you.
That's a blessed one.
And you too. Oh, my. The DEW Time crew never lets you down. For real. Well, it's Monday at the top of the hour, as Pastor Steph says, and you know what that means. It is time for The Switch with Shantice. Good morning, Shantice.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Good. I'm well, thank you. I am very happy now that you are in this bright light. Woo! I can see you nice and clearly. You know what I like to ask? What you got for us today?
Oh my goodness. Today we have The Switch with Shantice, where we're making the switch from the streets to our godly seat. And our switch tip for today is check your personality. Our switch tip 212, check your personality. Now, I came across two definitions for personality. A person's unique combination of traits, including their thoughts, their feelings, their behaviors, that consistently shape how they interact with the world and distinguish them from others. Second definition, it's the characteristics and the way someone thinks, feels, and acts, making them who they are. So the second definition is kind of broke down further. The first part of the definition, think about your personality. What made the switch tip come to mind for me, I was sitting with God and talking to him, and I'm like, God, Pastor Steph always says, let God reinvent you. And Lord God, not Lord man, Lord God, you have shown me how you are teaching me how to multiply these talents. Like, you are making me dope. I love you, Lord. You showed me all of the gifts, skills, and abilities you're blessing me with, that I am now a media personality as well as a journalist. And despite what some people believe, there is a slight difference between the two. But I started looking up, okay, so what does the world classify as a media personality? Knowing that God is not going to have me, follow the world's definition, but seeing how and why God is like, don't pay attention to that. Focus on what I have you doing. And when you think about your thoughts, your feelings, and your behaviors that now shape who you are and now teach you how to interact with this world, we understand that as God's children, we cannot or should not interact with the world the way the world interacts with the world. And it is really, really challenging at times to not interact with the world the way the world interacts with the world, because a lot of times I know for me, and maybe those who are in my plight understand. But it's like the world don't get you until you act like the world. But Jesus is now reminding me of the verse where he says he has already overcome the world, and do not pay evil for evil or insult for insult. So you can't now act like the world in order to overcome it. You have to be better. And the only way to be better is to now be like God and like Jesus. So your personality has to definitely match God and Jesus' personality in order for you to be successful, whether you have a career as a media personality or you're just a regular person, quote unquote, walking around here. Your personality is supposed to attract. So now when we think about the things and the people that we attract, what are your traits showing? What's that personality? Because that's the bait. Okay, and I had to really sit and think, like, why do I keep attracting the same type of men? Why do I keep attracting the same type of people? Why do I keep attracting the same type of fake God? What am I doing or not doing? But then we also have to remember also, especially those of us who possess the Holy Spirit, that we are always being challenged with the two natures, having to make sure we choose the Holy Spirit over our flesh, because we can definitely suppress the Holy Spirit and follow along with our flesh. Romans 7:15-17 falls under the banner of conflict of two natures. And I'm reading it in the Amplified version. For I do not understand my own actions. I am baffled and bewildered by them. I do not practice what I want to do, but I am doing the very thing I hate and yielding to my human nature, my worldliness, my sinful capacity. Now, if I habitually do what I do not want to do, that means I agree with the law, confessing that it is good, morally excellent. So now, if that is the case, then it is no longer I who do it, the disobedient thing which I despise, but the sin nature which lives in me. Again, every morning we wake up, every morning God wakes us up. We have to make the choice. Am I going to follow the Holy Spirit, or am I going to follow my flesh? Some days is a no-brainer. You follow the Holy Spirit. Other days, it's a real challenge. You got to go throughout the day saying to yourself, I'm not going to follow my flesh. I'm not going to follow my flesh. What are you willing to attract for today? Check your personality. Are you willing to attract the thoughts, the feelings, and the behaviors of these streets? Because Lord have mercy, Jesus Christ, the way these streets are moving, if you never drunk before, you'll start drinking. If you stop, you'll relapse. You got to make sure you are not attracting the things of this world, because it will just continue to have you in that toxic cycle. 3 John 1 verse 11, Amplified version reads, Beloved, do not imitate what is evil, but imitate what is good. The one who practices good, exhibiting godly character, moral courage, and personal integrity is of God. The one who practices or permits or tolerates evil has not seen God. He has no personal experience with him and does not know him at all. And Lord, quick transparency moment. Woo! Wait. The one who practices or permits or tolerates evil. So if I permit or tolerate evil, I am just as bad as the one who is actually practicing the evil. And I kept saying to God the past few months, Lord, I feel like with this particular person, I don't know what's going on, but I don't feel like I'm being myself. I feel like I'm being a big punk. It's like in my head, like we're having conversations in my head, right? I'm saying these things, and y'all know what I'm talking about, because a lot of times it's depicted on movies and on TV shows. I'm saying it, but literally I'm just like looking at the person talk to me, and at the same time I'm like, why are you not speaking? Hello, what's going on? What's happening? I have to check my personality. I have to keep going back to God, like, okay, I don't understand what's going on, but God, now you know I ain't afraid to say nothing. You know, because you said that's my personality, and you're using that aggressiveness for you, despite how I used to use it for the streets. But I was just as bad. I was just as bad as the person. See how God checks you? See how he checks that personality? 1 John 2:17, Amplified version reads, The world is passing away, and with it its lusts, the shameful pursuits and ungodly longings, but the one who does the will of God and carries out his purposes lives forever. I don't know about y'all, but I know I'm not gonna live forever. At the same time, I do know that I'm living now to determine what's going to happen to me when God sends Jesus back. And I want to have eternal life with the Lord. So we have to make sure we are making the conscious decision of making the switch from having the thoughts, the feelings, and behaviors that attracts this world to having the thoughts, the feelings, and behaviors that attract the godliness, so that God can continue to check our personality so that we can move more like him and less like our flesh. Our flesh first, before we can contend with the enemy, we contend with ourselves, making sure we move like him and not like our flesh and the enemy. Thank you, Pastor Steph.
Thank you, Shantice. Thank you. What's the switch tip title again for today?
Check your personality.
All righty. Thank you so much for your contribution into today's episode. And we pray you have a blessed day.
Thank you, you too.
You're welcome. Thank you. Let's get that benediction. Revelation 1:5-6. To him who loves us and has freed us from our sins by his blood, made us praise to his God and Father. To him glory and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Let's check our chat room. We've got a comment from Terrence going back. You are one of the truly lucky ones, Pastor. I'm a twin and don't have any twins, and I wanted twins. I don't know if God want to double up on everybody. Just thinking about Pastor KL being a twin. Lord, that's a scary one. That is a scary one. Let's go back to our last scenario. We're talking about today people who are in relationships and they've opted to stay despite. And this last one, where she starts off by saying, despite dating my husband for nearly 7 years before we married. Now, I'm with the Due Time crew. She's been married for 48 years now. And she's found that this husband, over the years, he was raised by a father who was Lord and master of his home. And unfortunately, the husband has a view of what marriage looks like. And that's the wife is the cook, the cleaner. She has sex, she raises the children, so forth and so on. And she says, as far as he was concerned, she was to keep her teaching job, manage 3 kids, and do it all on her own with no help from him. And he says there is only going to be one person in this house who makes the decisions, and it isn't going to be you. So my question is what everybody else has been asking. Well, where were you for the first 7 years? What happens during a dating period? 7 years? Whether the Bible says or whether the Christian says that 7 years is completion, it should have taken you 7 years to complete that process. But see, let me help you explain what happens with a lot of women. A lot of women, like Brother Al said, who is infatuated with this I'm married thing, they tend to believe that they can change him. They tend to believe that, oh, well, you know what? He's only acting like this right now. He can change. He's going to change. It's not that bad. I can live with it. It's going to get better. Well, did she not get the shock of her 48 years of living with this man? How they have survived for 48 years under this level of thinking is beyond me. Because within that 7-year period, God gave you an opportunity to see everything that you would be experiencing. And I refuse to believe, like it has been said, that none of this was exemplified. Ain't nowhere in the world you were dating this man for 7 years, and at no point did any of the chauvinistic, backwoods, archaic, Neanderthal thinking not surface. No way in the world. If y'all dated online, it would have come out. Ain't nowhere in the world. You all it is what she said in this little description, and none of this surface. Nah. She was infatuated with the fact that she was going to be married, and that's where her mind was, that's where her head was, and that's all she was thinking about. And now she got the shock of her life because it's 48 years later and she's tired and she doesn't quite know what to do. Well, here's my thing. Kids are grown. Kids are grown. If y'all been married for 48 years, unless you had a baby 8 years ago, the kids are grown. You got grandkids now. They can deal with granny being in Jersey and grandpa being in Connecticut. Yes, they can. And they would have to. There is nowhere in the world I would be in this relationship if I didn't prayed and served God and did all of this. Yes, because let me tell you something. I keep reminding you over and over again. You cannot serve God like this. Your life has been spared to serve God. God is to get the glory out of your life. Now, I don't hear nothing about this. Oh, there's no divorce and remarriage. Listen to me. God can't get no glory out of your life, but He will. He will, the man will, but God won't. There is no way you could properly serve God if you are suppressed like this. If all you were made was, in far as He's concerned, and all He's ever treated you was that you were the cook, the cleaner, the one who to lay up and have sex with Him and raise them kids, ain't no way in the world you could serve God. Because where's your head? Where's your mind? That ain't happening. I don't care what you say. I don't care who done told you that lie. I don't care what you believe. There is no way God is getting the glory out of your life. It's time to go. It's been time to go so that the Creator, the one who made you, can now get the best of you. Because right now, that man has gotten the best of you, not God. There's no way when we live a suppressed life, God can get anything from us. We don't function like that. We're human. There's no way in the world you're going to be squashed over in a corner and you're going to come out when it's time to go to church. You busting out and you ain't none of this stuff, none of this residual. If you go to church on a Sunday, that everything during the week, or if you go to work or go to church on Sabbath, anything during the week is going to come up to amount to anything. You're not busting out here on no church day, and now you ain't got nothing to worry about. You free. You ain't. There's nothing that's eking out of you that's resentful or hurting, or there's no pain. God does not thrive in your life like that. He doesn't. There's no way God is getting anything from you that He should. If it is, it's about this much. Now you tell me that this is what He wants from you. No, go ahead about your business now. 48 years, you done dedicated long overdue, too much time into that marriage. If God has not changed him in all this time, it's time to go. And I do not talk like that. I don't tell people just get up and leave, because I do believe that God can turn your marriage around. God can turn that individual around. Then God can turn your marriage around. But we have to be in a position where we can allow God to work with us. If we are insisting on being sinful, if we are insisting on living in this manner, then guess what? If we've been baptized and we suppress the Spirit of the Lord, what are we doing? Okay, because there's no truth to once saved, always saved. Oh, you can throw that into the toilet, big time. I've watched it happen. That you would wonder if this person was ever baptized. Like, oh, did you ever know the Lord? Yeah. So our goal is to serve God with our life. Our goal is to give God our life. Our goal is to give God the glory out of our life. Tell me something. How could she possibly disciple anybody? When a person came around them two and saw that he was the Lord and Master, and she, remember now, he didn't already said there's only going to be one person in this house who makes the decisions, and it isn't going to be you. You better believe whoever walked up on them, they could see that immediately, because she's quiet. She's shamed. She don't say nothing. She don't do nothing. All you ever see her doing is toting around the kids or toting around the plate or doing this. Who's she discipling? Discipling into what? Remember, that's our charge. Our charge is to disciple others. How in the world are we possibly doing that in this arena? It don't work. It's not happening. So I'm sorry. This is one. This is definitely one when I'm saying throw that into the sea of forgetfulness. Enjoy your children, enjoy your grandchildren, learn from your 48 years of that, and take whatever, Brother Al says, she might as well go the distance. Go the distance with the rest of your life, completely serving God. Because that right there is going to be the key. That is going to be the key to your peace for the rest of your life, because you surely could not live in peace in this manner. That is how she needs to live the rest of her life. Not staying in this because I ain't got nothing else to do, or stay in this because I done gave all of this here now, so I might as well just go ahead and throw in the towel and say, no. Remember, I'm a survivor. My mode of thinking is much different. Get out. And I always say, get out fast, move, and don't look back. Do what you need to do so that God gets the glory out of your life. I am determined that no one will ever treat me like garbage again. No one ever will ever make me feel insignificant or that my voice does not matter again, ever in life. And I give God thanks that if I were to go through any of that, it was during some young years so I could live a level of freedom. And I can now give it all to him. I already see it coming. I already know what it looks like. I already know what it feels like. I've been there, done that, and you can never, ever, ever get me to accept that ever again. That's my advice. When we are in these relationships at this level, go ahead about your business. Go ahead about your business. If God has not changed them by now, be gone so that God can get the best from you. Okay? I'm always saying, Craft Corner, our girl Nicole, this is what you can get. All right. Make sure you check her out. Make sure you check her out. And the information is in our chat room. We got our embroidery manufacturers helping us shake the Monday morning blues. Yes. We can represent who we are. We can say to the world who we are. We can wear what we want to wear. That's what you want to do with this ability. Okay. Sure. You say it with your chest. All right. Make sure you check out. Make sure you check it out. Okay. Order it. You don't have to be a domestic violence survivor. Whatever survivor you are, say it. All right. Say it. Okay. You've been watching It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. Join us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. where we discuss matters of the heart, mind, and spirit. As you go through your day, be sure to set your mind on things that are above, not on things that are on the earth. They will only serve as a distraction. Remember, prayer changes things. It's Pastor Steph signing off, and I want to thank my Due Time crew for always coming through big time. Thank you for hanging out with us. I tell you, I love this chat room. Please do not miss this opportunity to give Christ your life right now. Please do not miss this opportunity to strengthen that relationship with the Lord right now, because later is not promised to any of us. Well, until tomorrow, God spares, where it's Let's Talk About It Tuesday Church Folk Day. Until then, I love you.